Hello and welcome back to Season 2 of the Groom's Perspective podcast with your hosts Katie Mosdale and Martha Haring.
We're opening the stable door and delving into the lives of two eventing grooms, sharing the unfiltered highs and lows as we pave our way through the equestrian world. Available now on all good podcasting platforms. So, hi everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Groom's Perspective. We are joined with very talented Ellie Frederick today. We're very excited to be discussing all things Ellie's career and her decision to go to university, juggle horses.
So it's really good to have you on, Ellie, and I thought we could just start by you talking to our listeners a bit about like your career so far and just kind of introduce yourself, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, of course. So I'm 21-year-old eventer from the Southwest. I've competed up to 4-star, not very successfully, but I have done it. So I've done under 18s. I did Young Rider Europeans in 2023 and basically now just producing horses alongside doing university with the hope to eventually go professional. Very large hope. But no, I do it alongside my mum. Just kind of having fun at the moment.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. So you say you're doing it alongside university. Like what are you studying?
So I do philosophy up at Cardiff. So it's about 2.5 hours from home.
So how do you find juggling horses with that? Do you take a horse with you to university or do you commute often?
Oh no, I have to commute. I don't think I could quite. There's not a lot of horses up in, like, the horse industry in Wales isn't brilliant. I've got a couple of friends that keep their horses up there, but trying to take 5 or 6 horses with me possibly wouldn't work. So I come back every weekend. First year, it kind of depends on my schedule. Whether or not I have lectures on a Monday, I tend to just come back on a Monday. I just try and have like an extended weekend at home, and then I'll do kind of like Monday evening to Thursday evening up at uni normally. And then I get a train, walk to train station, normally about Thursday evening, get on a train. It's hour and a half direct home. I'll do as much uni work on my commutes as I can. Hence, I don't I know loads of people take their cars up and commute back and forth. But my mindset was if I'm not driving and I'm on a train, I can at least do like more work there, because trying to convince myself to do work when I'm at home and like surrounded by horses is not the easiest thing in the world. And then I'll normally my mum and the girls are quite good. I'll ride during until about 3, and then I'll normally spend a couple hours in the office, currently where I am, sat just doing uni work, trying to catch up on as much as possible. And then I toddle back on normally Monday evening, have my one night out a week on a Wednesday, the recovery / some lectures. Yeah, exactly.
Got to go out on sport night.
You have to. But yeah,
this is a foreign language for me. I didn't do uni. This is a foreign language.
Yeah, it sounds like you're very disciplined.
Yeah, I try to be. And to be fair, it's quite nice because it gives me enough of a social life that when I come back, I don't have to have too much of one. And then obviously, like, when it's the event, I get 5 months off at the summer. I get basically a month and a half off at winter. I'm barely at uni as it is. I think I'm there for 20 weeks of the year. And then I'm not there for every single week of that. So I don't actually spend that much time up there. It works quite well. I did very specifically choose a course that did very limited contact hours for that reason.
Yeah, I think that's really smart. Like, you know that you want to still do the horses, but you want to get the degree, so you aim to choose a course that's going to allow you to do that. I think if anyone's listening and wants to do university and still commit to the horses, it's really like interesting to hear why you chose the course you did.
I think it is also very doable. I've got a friend that does like biosciences up at Cardiff, and I mean, she does a lot more. She has to do a lot more hours than me. She has exams. I have no in-person exams. All of mine is coursework. If I have any exams, it's a 24-hour one. Like online, it's blissful. But like she has her horse up there with her during term time, and she just goes and she gets up early. She does it in the morning, does it in the evening. You can make it work depending on what you want to do. But my mum was very much for me going to uni. My dad slightly less so. He was like, if you're doing the horse, he didn't necessarily want me to do A levels. He was like, no, if you're going to go do horses, go do horses. And I was like, well, it's not as if I'm going to come back and after horses, if I break myself, I'm not going to want to go do a university degree then. So I might as well go have a bit of a social life, have fun, and find a way to work with the horses. You are in the horse industry for 40, 50 years anyway. It's not as if I don't necessarily feel like I'm missing out on anything going to uni.
Yeah, and actually you're probably gaining an awful lot. There's a lot that you'd miss if you did just choose to stick with the horse route, like having a normal life. It gives you so much
independence. Like even just living alone, or not living alone, but living, like moving out, having to cook for myself, like going shopping, all like really small things that you wouldn't necessarily think of make a difference, but then you come back and you realise how much lack of independence you have from living with your parents.
Yeah, and I guess in like your setup as well, like I'm taking like you doing the horses and stuff. It's at home, isn't it? Like you say, you're doing it with your mum and that kind of thing. So it would have been quite easy to just stay in that setting and fall into it, if you know what I mean. But
yeah, it's very much my comfort zone.
Yeah,
no, I think that's the same for us.
Yeah, that is the same for us. In a slightly different situation, but it is like you get comfy in what you're doing, and it's it's quite scary to take the leap and do something completely different.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, to be fair, when I first went up to uni, I remember because it was all a bit of a whirlwind. Like, obviously, I applied with a year to defer. I knew I was going to have a gap year. I had my gap year. I did. I basically played ponies for a year. I did Young Rider Europeans, and that fell literally right at the end of September. And so when I went, I think ended up we got back from Europeans. I had like 3 days before I went to uni, and that all went a bit tits up. So I wasn't really thinking about going to uni until I was literally in the car, like driving up there. And I basically got up there and I was like, I don't feel like I should be here. I'd much prefer to be with my ponies. And even like the first couple of months, it's always, I feel everyone says it, like it always takes a bit of a while to settle in. But I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world now. Like I've got some of the best uni friends I could imagine. Like we're going up. We live, it does make you realise, like I'm so looking forward to going back to my third year because I want to go see my friends. I want to live with my friends for another year. It makes a difference in, I think, your perspective on life as well. It just gives you so many more opportunities.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's sort of how we
not a
feel.
criticism to anyone who doesn't go.
No, it's the thing. Like it's really interesting because I didn't go. Like I did A levels and then like I could have gone, but I went in the horses and it's like I feel like I'm missing out here.
Did you ever regret not going?
Yes and no. Like you're talking about sport night on a Wednesday.
Yeah, sport night on a Wednesday is amazing. I won't lie. It doesn't matter what uni you're at. Good. Sport night is brilliant.
Yeah, we need to make that here.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's so good. So sport night. I mean, Ellie, you can come and you can share your sport night. But basically, every Wednesday, it's the same for all the universities in the UK. You have a sport night, and I was part of the equestrian club, and I think Ellie, you are as well.
Yeah.
And so on a Wednesday, it's like sport night, and my uni, my club, we themed it. So we would have like cowgirl night, honestly.
That sounds tragic.
It was tragic. Pajama night. But honestly, sounds tragic, but when you're drunk, it's amazing.
We've done Smurfs, we've done Oompa Loompas. I've been dressed, like I've been fully body painted, completely orange. What makes it worse, so we'll have a theme every week. We'll have like a social sex, so like just someone that basically hosts it at their house. Unfortunately, that's one of my really good friends and it's at our house this year. So I think it might be a little bit feral. Although we have got the idea that the freshers have to clean up the house before they go to the SU. But no, so we'll do like, it's really weird though, because you'll start your social at about 6:30. I mean, like some of the rugby lots start it really early. You'll do like your prees for an hour, and I mean we're in the SU by 8:30. And like, I mean, some of my friends stay there till close, which is 3, and I'm like, I don't understand how you do it, but it's blissful because it means that I can get like I can go home at like 11 o'clock, still get into bed like at a reasonable time and be fine.
Oh, you see that?
No,
I could get down for that. I like a nice early bedtime.
And also everything's so cheap.
Very well, horsey.
I love that we're here.
really
Like, so this is you on a Wednesday dressed as like a Smurf,
Is it
and
a
then
Wednesday?
on a weekend you're like out winning a 3-star, as though like nothing's happened. Like,
It is a crazy world.
Yeah, no. It makes it even better when you've just come back from like a bucks competition. You've ridden like the really shitty little cob ponies.
Are we going to talk about bucks? I'm not sure we can do that.
And then you yeah, but it's fine because you then get to like you'll do your like dressage test. You would have got like 57%, and then you can go drink your sorrows in alcohol, go for a night out, have a nice sleep. It's blissful.
I know, and my team would always lose. Like we were good, like as in individually, but I don't know. Every university kind of rigs the draw. Don't know if they do that with you, but yeah, you kind of get Exeter are really bad for this. So they know they basically don't make it fair.
We know.
They pick their own horses, blah blah blah. It wasn't just Exeter, but they were notoriously bad. And then so we would always lose. So then obviously, like you say, on a Wednesday night, it's easy, you can go out and get hammered and forget about feeling bad about your riding. I'm like, I can't even get this cob round like a 70 centimetre course. Like, this is awful. But it's good fun. It's actually experience. I look back on it now and I'm like, that was some of the best times I've had so far. Like, I really enjoyed it, and it was worth the stress of university.
Yeah, no, I agree. But to be fair, the only thing I would say, if you're not going, I have gone and studied something that I enjoy, and I think if I wasn't enjoying my subject, I would absolutely despise it because I just want to be home doing the horses. You've got to go and do something that you're interested in because it's so much self-study that you actually have to like want to do it.
Yeah, you have to be really self-motivated. Yeah, it's hard, especially when you've got the horses, and that's such an easy distraction. It's so easy to say, I'm going to chuck everything into the horses because that's what you've done your whole life. I mean, I was the same. And then university is kind of on the back foot, but yeah, understand that.
so in terms of with your horses then, so we kind of obviously touched on the uni, like tell us a bit about like your string, and like you say you're producing some at the moment. Like what's kind of, where are you at the moment, and like what's the plan, you know, kind of thing. Although that's a horrible question, and I was like, what's your plan? You know, like where are we kind of going with it?
Oh, I'd love to say I've got like 4 or 5 3-star horses, couple of young horses, be blissful. No, I've literally got nothing at the moment, which is probably really good coming into uni. But I had 2 projects at the beginning of the year. I sold one of them about a month ago to America. I've got another one that I'm currently looking at probably selling. So we currently have our 2 homebred 7-year-olds. One has been converted to a show jumper. He just did his first 140 the other, my 140 and his 140 the other week. And then his twin sister is aiming hopefully at the Leon 7-year-olds at the end of the year. And then we've got a couple of sales liveries in, most of which thankfully have been sold or are being sold. And then I've got a little 4-year-old that's very, very green, has only been backed for like 2 months. But hopefully he'll go and do a couple of Burley Young event horses next year, get him out eventing. He's really nice. And then I might look at buying something else if I sell my other project. Sometime in the beginning of next year. I mean, it'd be blissful if I had like a couple of people come along and be like, oh yeah, here's a nice 2-star horse, or here's a nice 6-year-old. But that, again, I think it's a little bit the consequence of going to uni. I'm not dedicated to it full time. It's actually harder to get rides and keep a nice healthy string at home, because obviously when I go to uni, my mum's got to ride them all. The girls at the yard have to look after them all. I'm not here all the time. So as much as I would love to be I'm like riding 7 a day, I think it's slightly depleting at the moment. Not that it's a bad thing. I think when I go to uni and I come back, I only have about 3 to ride. That's probably quite good. But no, the plan would be, I'm obviously going into my third and final year, so I'll start in Christmas, looking at possibly taking on some liveries myself. I'll hopefully rent a couple boxes off my mum here, and then hopefully I can start building my own business vaguely, very, very vaguely, when in like middle of summer next year, when I finish uni. That's when it starts becoming all a little bit scary.
No, that sounds really, really exciting. So we are filming this currently. It's August. So what are your end of season plans this season? What events have you got lined up?
So we're heading to Cornbury just for the 3-star short. In like 3 weeks, I think. Potentially, they've asked us to go up to Burley to do the stallion show with the other 7-year-old. Because although he's a gelding, we did collect off of him as a 3-year-old, so he's got frozen sperm. So they've asked us to take him up to Burley next Friday, I think. So hopefully we'll head to Cornbury, and I'm hoping after Cornbury we'll find out whether or not we get to go to Leon, and that will ideally be the big end of year goal. Otherwise, I think she'll probably end at Cornbury. She won't need to do anything else, providing she's had a good run. The courses there is always really nice anyway, and she doesn't need to do a 3-star long this year anyway. But yeah, no, Le Leon's the very big aim, but again, you do still have to get selected.
And have you been to Le Leon before?
Yeah, so I took my retired mare there 3 years ago, 2022, as a 7-year-old. And there really is nothing like it. Like, it's what I imagine would be similar to people going around badminton. The crowds are honestly insane. Like, you walk the cross country course, and I know they say it for like badminton or Burley. It's probably not to that extent. It feels like it when you're on the horse. But no, you walk the course, and you got where you're looking for your lines and everything, and you get on the course like on that Saturday, and you can't see anything. I almost took someone out with my foot because they were leaning over the string and I was going on a slightly more direct line. It's insane. The French they definitely get behind the riders as well. But no, we went there. It was an incredible experience. It just makes you want to go back. I can understand why it's so difficult to go, because people just, if you have the opportunity to go, why wouldn't you?
And for any of our listeners that aren't sure, like, Le Leon is the World Young Horse Championships, isn't it? So it's kind of where all the best 6 and 7-year-olds gather and compete. So it's no wonder that they all want to come out, because I guess everyone's seeing like the next top horses, really.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Toledo de Cursa came second there. As most of the young top horses these days are placed there, at least. But the issue is you only get, the 7-year-olds are slightly more easy. You get set 12 places per nation. The 6-year-old, we've got one of the our girls at the yard trying to get a 6-year-old there for Australia, and I mean, they don't have that many Aussie riders, but still trying to get a 6-year-old there is quite difficult because there's only 3 places per nation. So it's literally like trying to get a 6-year-old there for England's basically impossible.
Yeah, you need to be doing like a 20 double clear all season, don't you, really?
Basically.
Yeah. Oh, damn, that's me out.
God.
It's a shame.
Yeah. Speaking of Australia, have you just switched nations?
I have. To be fair, primarily to do with the fact that I was aiming at the Leon. Obviously, really, it's like great to represent the same country that my mum and dad did, but it just makes life so much easier. It's yes, you miss out on Europeans, but in my mind, oddly enough, I'd much prefer to be able to go to Nations Cups, go to badminton and Burley, have the opportunity to get on senior teams if I can, or if I have the horsepower. But versus in England, where you're literally half the riders don't even get on a senior team until they're well into their career. At least for Australia, there's a little bit more wiggle room, and we've got quite a few young up and coming riders who are British. I think there's a couple other nationalities that I think they're thinking of when they come out as young riders. They might switch as well, so we should have quite a strong team in the future, hopefully. I'm also hoping it might be a bit more enticing for owners if I can, slightly easier, because I can go, oh yeah, I can go to Buccleuch, slightly easy, or it's easier to get to places like that. Again, also like Le Lion, it's, at least for the 7-year-olds, it's more a matter of qualifying depending on the year. Makes life hopefully a little bit easier.
I think that's really insightful for us.
I was about to say, it's actually really sensible, like, and it's also just kind of shows like it's a bit of a business decision that you're having to make at quite a young age. Like that's one of the like harsh realities of the sport. Would you agree?
Very much so. I think well, I think a lot of the time, like, yes, I've had, going again back to the fact that we've had some quite nice young horses. You don't necessarily want to sell all of them, but I had a really nice 3-star horse that got longlisted for Europeans last year, that is actually got sold as a potential LA horse, and he's being aimed at the 8 and 9-year-olds at Blenheim back end of this year, and I could have very easily taken him to Blenheim last year, but I mean, we made the decision to sell him then and there, and I'm very glad that I did. It was a good decision to make. It meant that I was able to buy some more lovely young horses. But it does mean you get a little bit stuck producing the going around lots of B100s to intermediate, and you don't get to go to very many internationals. But yeah, no, hopefully one day an owner might come along and be like, oh, that's a really nice horse. How about I buy it so that you can ride it? But
yeah, like even at a lower level, like we were literally chatting out hacking like this, this week with like about our horses, and like, when you own your own, like when you own them, you have to make tough decisions, and it's a bit like that horse is only worth what they're worth at that time. They could go and do something so stupid in the field the next day, and that horse is then worthless, and your business is being based around that horse's worth, and it just make it really hard. It's tough decisions.
Yeah, and you've also got, like, I don't think everyone necessarily knows how expensive running horses can be. I definitely saw there's a very large difference between having a horse that's only doing unaffiliated. Like, we've had a couple of babies that we've literally just kept them at unaffiliated. It's fine, it's fairly cheap and cheerful compared to when you're trying to run them international. And then there's also the risk of, when do you decide, have I run them at enough events that they are actually worth how much I want to sell them for, versus if I do another one, are they going to break, or is it going to go wrong? Am I going to mess up? Sadly, I'm not a professional rider, and I do very much make a lot of mistakes. So when someone comes along and goes like, oh, that's got a 20 on its record, why did that happen? I'm like, well, I'm only 21. I do make mistakes. I promise it's not the horse. But you get a little bit in that kind of tug of war of how many do you do versus, is it going to be too much, or is something going to go wrong?
Yeah, and I think this is very similar for us. I mean, I'm doing it at a totally different level. Like, I'm not riding at the level you are, but we always say, it's on their record now, and it's really easy to get so caught up in like a fault or how their record looks when you're considering that horse is your it's your investment, and it's really hard to go to an event and have a bad day and then stay motivated and want to keep going when you feel bad as a rider because you've not given giving that horse a good day, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's also really hard because especially horse prices just go up, and like, yes, you want to buy a really nice young horse, but you go and buy a really nice young horse for just say 20 grand. You're then thinking, or at least in my mindset, I'm like, right, I've got to do enough with this horse within 6 months to essentially mean that I can make enough profit that I can go and buy another horse. My worst nightmare is I'm going to end up having a horse and I can't sell it for like a year or a year and a half. And then you just end up losing money. There's definitely an art to it, isn't it? But no, I'm really lucky I have got my mum to help.
And going back to university, is that why you're kind of going down the degree route, that if you do decide that buying and selling horses is not sustainable, you've got something to fall back on?
I possibly decided to go to uni for not the best reason. Very much decided I wanted a social life. But then, to be fair, I do think my mum's accident had quite a lot to do with it. So she broke her knee really badly 9 years ago. And it she can't jump anymore. She will get on a horse, but it basically completely wrote off her career. She had retired from 4 and 5 star, but she was still producing horses at 3 star. And if she hadn't got the name for herself that she had, she wouldn't be able to do the teaching that she does now. So she was very much of the mindset of, at least if you go and injure yourself at just say mid-20s, 30s, you haven't actually done that much. You then have something to fall back on. Even if it is just a university degree, there is something extra.
And I think it's a really good point, because I think at 16, 17, like when you're making decisions about like A-levels and university and that kind of thing, you do feel pretty invincible at that age. And, you know, you don't think that's going to happen to you, but, you know, it is a high-risk sport and accidents do happen, and you can't predict what is going to happen in 10, 20 years' time. Or even, like you say, like with your mum, like it was towards the end of her career, but it still had a huge impact.
Yeah, like the loss of earnings that she had were incredible, because obviously, yes, she wasn't competing at top level, but she was still riding horses for owners. And as soon as she can't ride anymore, like, people forget that our business, especially if you're doing it as a rider, is based on your ability to ride, unless you completely devote yourself to training. But most of the time it is the fact that you can sit on a horse, you are the one that's able to make it better, you can compete it. If you're not able to do that, there goes most of your income. So it is, when you're trying to make these decisions, having I can definitely say, having taken a couple of tumbles this year, I definitely don't feel so invincible anymore.
Yeah, same. I had quite a big tumble about a month ago, and I was literally like, my whole mindset was like, oh my God. I think until it actually happens, you don't think it will happen to you. You see it happen to other people, kind of thing.
We've got a board in the accommodation where we have a tally of because we used to do it, if you fell off, you buy a cake for the yard. That became really expensive.
Good, we have the same.
So we just
Sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar. Yeah, we've got a board.
I think you're leading.
So we just.
Yeah, I am leading.
How many are you on?
7.
Oh, I was going to say 8.
Oh, maybe 8 since January.
7, definitely 7.
But it's but we have it for the rider, so it's how many times the rider falls off, and then the horse as well. So there's a list of horses on the board, and it's my horse that's topping it at the minute.
Yeah,
so I'm quite proud of him, you know.
You won't be proud of it at the end of the year when you've got to pay a chocolate fine.
I know, I've not got any cream eggs.
Yeah, like if you fall off, you have to buy. It's cream eggs. I don't know why it's cream eggs.
Well, I think because when you fall off, you're like a cream egg, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah, but it's obviously all right. Like, because a lot of the falling off happens like when they come back in off their holidays because they're all fresh. So there's a lot of cream eggs available. And then in summer, it's a bit harder to find. So you just don't fall off in summer.
Yeah, I've not actually brought
And then we get to the end of the year and it's like, yeah, who's fallen off the most?
Do we?
And which horse thing?
Well, it's you.
Yeah, of course it's me. It's me every year. 'Cause I get put on the idiots.
Don't worry, that's how I feel at the moment. My tally just keeps going up and up. I fell off 3 times in 1 week 2 weeks ago. It was a really bad week.
I know, and I swear,
It
like
was
the girls take great pleasure. Like I'm literally like on the floor on the yard, and like already someone's run into the whiteboard with their pen.
I know. Well, when you fell off the other day, you weren't even at home, and I was like, oh, she's like, I saw an event in schools. I was like, eliminated, tally. She's off again.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you.
No
It's
worries.
true friendship. So
Hey,
yeah,
at least you keep the horses. If I fall off them too many times, I'm like, no, I'm okay, thank you. I give up now.
someone else can ride that one, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine.
I've done it a lot. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's great. I've got we got some really gutsy riders at the yard. And I'm like, it's fine. You get on that one. I don't want to touch it.
Yeah, it's good experience for you. That's what Jan says to me. It's good experience. And I'm like, great experience when I'm eating the sand. Are they? But no. So touching on, we said at the beginning, we touched a bit on like horse injury, and we've spoken a lot about like your string and how in an ideal world kind of thing. So do you want to talk to us a bit about how, obviously, was it Trendy that retired? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's not an easy one kind of thing, but I think it would be something that a lot of listeners can relate to, like the actual like the heartbreak that the horses causes and stuff.
Yeah, it was a long road.